Helping students stay focused on learning is a key part of your classroom management plan. In this video, you'll learn 3 ways you can use Google Slides to help. Let's get started. How many times have you heard the question, what are we supposed to do right now, after giving students verbal instructions for a learning activity? Minimize this frustration and help students stay focused by projecting an instruction slide for students to refer to as needed. Adding a timer will allow students to see exactly how much time they have left to complete the task, minimizing wasted time. You might include what the student should do if they get stuck and need help. Having these clear expectations visually displayed during a learning activity will help students stay focused on exactly what they should be doing. If you'd like to create an instruction slide from scratch, go to Google Drive, click New, then Google Slides. Or you can make a copy of our example. Open the slide, click File, then Make a Copy. You now own this copy and can edit it as needed for your students. A second way to use Google Slides to increase student focus is by using a shared Google Slides file that all students work in at the same time. For example, you might ask students to individually answer a prompt on their own slide. Because everyone can see what everyone else is doing, it will be obvious when someone isn't working. You can check in with students who aren't focused on the task. A simple way to create this Google Slides file and share it with your students is by using Google Classroom. On the classwork page, click Create, and then Assignment. Give it a title and instructions. In the Attach area, click Create, then Slides. A new Google Slides file will open in a new tab. Now create the learning task you want your students to do. You might reiterate the instructions on slide 1. Then create a slide with a prompt you want your students to respond to. Duplicate the prompt slide as many times as needed so each student has their own slide. To duplicate a slide, click the slide you want to duplicate, click Edit, Duplicate. This file is automatically saved in your Google Drive, so you can close it when it's ready. Go back to the Google Classroom tab. Change the settings for the attached slides to Students Can Edit File. This means that all students will have access to and be able to edit the same Google Slides file, as opposed to making a copy for each student. Click Assign when you're ready to use this with your students. This last idea integrates Google Slides with Google Meet. You are familiar with using Google Meet for remote learning, but you might be surprised at how valuable it can be for the classroom too. A third way to use Google Slides to increase student focus is to present your slides directly to each student's device using Google Meet. This is a great option if you don't have access to a classroom projector. There are 2 ways to create a Google Meet link for your students to join. On the Stream page of Google Classroom, click Generate Link and make sure it's visible to students. You and your students can join the Meet link directly from Classroom. A second option is to go to meet.google.com, click New Meeting, then Start an Instant Meeting. Copy the link and send it to your students or write it somewhere for your students to copy. Once you enter the Google Meet, turn off your own microphone and camera. You don't need these as you're in the classroom with your students. Click the Present icon to present your slides. Because you are using Google Meet in the classroom rather than for virtual learning, you'll want to use the moderation controls accordingly. Click on the icon to open Host Controls. Make sure Host Management is toggled on. Toggle off everyone's ability to share their screen, send chat messages, turn on their microphone, and turn on their video. Since you're together in your classroom, you won't need these functions. If your school district is using the Teaching and Learning Upgrade or Education Plus editions of Google Workspace for Education, you have access to Q&A and polls. These features are a great way to engage students in the content you're presenting. In the Host Controls area, toggle on Allow Questions in Q&A. Decide if you want to allow anonymous questions and toggle as needed. When Q&A is allowed, students can ask questions directly in Google Meet. They can see other students' questions and click the upvote icon to signal they have the same question. You can see which questions are most popular, answer them, and mark them as answered. To access the Q&A area, click the Activities icon, then Q&A. Use polls to ask a quick multiple choice question to your students. Click the activities icon and choose polls. Start a poll and add your question. Students will receive a notification that there is a poll and they can click to answer. This is a great way to do a pulse check on how your students are doing. These 3 ideas using Google Slides to help students stay focused on learning range from teacher-centered to student-centered. They integrate with Google Classroom and Google Meet for best results. Try these ideas in your classroom.